Ninth floor, going up.
I've come to the heart of London's banking district to meet Graham Stewart from cybersecurity company Checkpoint. They monitor these sorts of attacks. Graham, hi. Nice to meet you. How are you?
So Scattered Spider is probably the most infamous of these. The interesting thing about Scattered Spider is actually this isn't just a technical takedown. So in the old days, cyber attacks were a purely technical thing. They would try and find a chink in an organisation, public or private, armour, and use that chink in that armour to try and take the organisation down. Actually, what's happening is that they're moving much more into a human intelligence-led attack. And this is terrifying because Checkpoint is a technology services organisation. We provide technology to help organisations defend themselves and help them with their process. But the weakest link in any cybersecurity chain are the human beings that work at that organisation, and that's what they're exploiting at the moment.
The International Monetary Fund says cyber attacks contributed to an estimated $28 billion in losses to businesses around the world. But as much cybercrime goes unreported, they admit that figure is likely to be substantially higher. It seems that no one is safe, with ransomware gangs going after businesses and even critical infrastructure like hospitals.
The numbers are actually really staggering at the moment. I saw a statistic that one of our guys produced the other day. So the NHS in the UK is getting attacked 1,400 times a day at the moment, and those numbers are just unprecedented. But it's not just the NHS, it's the banking sector, it's airlines, it's retail, and obviously retail's been in the news because that's been one of the sectors here in the UK that's been attacked. But across the world, these gangs are going after sector by sector and trying to do as much damage and extract as much money as they possibly can.
And how busy have things been for you and your team recently then compared to recent years?
So I've been in the industry 25 years and I have never seen it like this. It's just unprecedented is one of those words that gets bandied around, but frankly it fits the bill here. I've never seen the cybersecurity space, the amount of attacks being like this, and we are flat out.
And what are we putting that down to then?
So there's a number of different things that are kind of coming together. So what you've got as a globe, as humanity itself is more online than it's ever been, and that will continue. And so the continued use of digital services and the use of digital as our everyday lives, we've kind of reached that kind of point where it's a perfect storm. You've got digital services, the world moving online, but also these criminals being able to exploit that for financial and ideological gain.
And have you had businesses then coming to you recently more concerned with the rise in attacks and what seems like a bit of an onslaught on business?
Yeah, and so there's the ones that make it to the news and the ones that don't make it to the news. And the ones that don't make it to the news are generally the ones that come and talk to us because they're the ones. So give you an example, Scattered Spider went after UK retailers. They went after US airlines and then airlines globally. I can tell you that the global airline organisations are on a war footing right now because they're absolutely terrified that they'll be the next one taken down. There was a 100-year-old organisation we dealt with taken down by ransomware, and they folded, and that cost hundreds of jobs. That's people's lives, that's people's mortgages, that's people's families taken offline because of this stuff. And we're seeing that not just in the airline space, but in the retail space, in the banking and finance space. They don't want to be the next one. Organisations like mine provide the technology, and you need to make sure that that technology is as up-to-date as possible because...
We're back with cybersecurity expert Graham Stewart.
Cyber is all about an arms race. You know, the bad guys are getting better. You need to make sure you're getting better as well in terms of your defences. Organisations need to be training their staff and making them aware of what's going on. And rule number one, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So don't do it.
Thank you to Graham and to all of my guests. You've been listening to Business Daily on the BBC World Service with me, Sam Gruet. This episode was produced by Megan Lawton. You can find more episodes wherever you get your BBC podcasts.